Why don't astronauts eat popsicles?
Why not?
They can't hear the music from the ice cream truck in space.
Hungry Squared, bringing you the best food talk anywhere.
Welcome to the Hungry Squared podcast where the brain and belly meet. I'm Sharon from the Wasatch Cooking Guide.
And I'm Winter from theredparty.com. This week, we're talking about food trends.
2016?
What? And 2017 predictions. Let's talk about it.
Hungry Squared, yeah, Hungry Squared.
Okay, Sharon, how's your week been? Did you eat anything good, bad, ugly?
I ate something bad and ugly.
Oh, really? Whoa. We're ending the year on something bad?
Well, I've had good things too.
Okay.
But never in my life have I had a steak this bad. I went to not a steakhouse.
Not a steakhouse. That is always a little questionable.
Well, sometimes, I don't know, you go to like upscale restaurants or just, I don't know, any restaurant. Everybody has steak on their menu, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that you could usually get done okay to really great. I feel like that's a reasonable expectation. Apparently it was not this last week.
Ugh.
I went to a local to Utah along the Wasatch Front, if you will. So that is Salt Lake City and its suburbs.
Yep.
I went to a local chain, which is like a bar and grill type place.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not in Salt Lake City area,
You're not going to know.
Yeah, you're not going to know. You're not going to miss it. And you're safe. So I went to this place. It's unusual for me to go to this place.
Okay.
So that's your hint. Because I don't really want to call him out.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're not going to call them out. Yeah.
Because I called him out at the restaurant.
Oh. Ew.
I ordered a flat iron steak.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's kind of basic. For those of you not familiar, a flat iron is a slightly cheaper cut of meat.
Mm-hmm.
It has to do with like the shoulder area of the cow. It's a little bit tougher, but you can make it really good. There's the gristle. There's a big muscle tendon type thing that runs through it. It's usually cut out, and you can make it really tender and great.
And they're usually thinner. Is that correct?
They
I feel like those are usually thinner.
Mm-hmm. Just because of the way it's cut in that area. So the gristle was not cut out of the steak, but if you cut it right, you can have like 2 steaks out of this area that they call the flat iron. So just to give you some history on this, I would like to do that.
Tell me.
I'm just going to throw this in here.
Give me some history on the flat iron steak.
It's an old industry term, and it's provided a lot of charisma, quote unquote, to consumers. And the scientist at the University of Nebraska kind of explained the steak's name, and the scientist is Chris Calkins. He said that they were unable to trace the exact source of the name, though, but it's an old term used in the industry. And it's been said that they use the term because it resembles a flat iron.
Like an iron to iron your clothes.
Mm-hmm. They said that it was kind of that shape.
Okay.
But that is incorrect. It is not that shape. And some people have said that you use an iron to tenderize it. Not an iron that you would iron your clothes with, though. Okay. Because it is a little bit tough. It depends on how you cut the meat, though, off of the gristle and things like that, as to how tough it is. Actually, there's another theory, and that is that there was a gentleman named Bill from a meat market in Napa, California.
Hey, Bill.
And he said that the French were the first to discover the flat iron steak. It has a thick gristle and a sinew plate running through the center of it, and it has to be trimmed to remove the undesirable gristle. The gristle is so tough that the French got to calling it iron hard, and since it's flat, they call it a flat iron steak. So the way that my steak at this particular establishment was served was it was actually served on a flat cast iron skillet that didn't have really any sides to it. It just had a handle. And it was so hot, I in fact could not touch it because I would burn myself. So I ordered a medium steak because I think, like I said, medium is a basic thing that everybody should be able to do, correctly. And it got to me, and I have shoes that look more appetizing than that steak looked once I cut into it. It was so gross.
Oh, man.
So
So you sent it back?
I sent it back.
Okay.
I rarely send food back because I just don't like to.
Yeah.
I don't want to bother them.
But that is really...
But it was not okay.
Yeah.
It was beyond well done.
Yeah.
It was very gray in the middle. It was like a really dark gray in the middle. It was just really gross and it was hard to cut and it was not appetizing. So I asked the waitress if she could send it back and I was like, I ordered it medium and it's on this hot plate because it's going to keep cooking.
Yes.
So I had to explain that concept to her, that it will keep cooking if you leave it in the cast iron. So I requested that it be cooked to medium and then put on a plate,
right?
Just a regular plate. So they did that. And as she brought it back, she's like, I was thinking about it. And the reason why we serve it on an iron plate or whatever is because it's a flat iron steak. So we serve it on a flat iron. And I looked at her and I was like, no. And I corrected her. I tried to be like really nice about it, but I'm sure she probably thought I was super snotty. Because I was like, no, that's actually just the name. It's just the cut of meat.
Darn it. So did the second one?
It was fine.
Okay.
It wasn't amazing. Mm-hmm. It was fine. My good thing that I ate this week was tea. I've been drinking a lot of tea lately because it's super cold outside.
Mm-hmm. Is it your peppermint tea?
My peppermint tea. I've been drinking turmeric tea.
Oh.
I make my own turmeric tea paste. It's basically the one on Heidi Swanson's cookbook or her 101 cookbooks website.
Okay.
Go to her website and Google turmeric tea. It's amazing.
I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah.
Oh.
And now I'm drinking some lemon honey tea that Lee made me.
Yeah, because it's cold outside, everybody. It is cold outside.
And have you heard the new Baby It's Cold Outside song with Consent? It's awesome.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's
okay,
great.
We'll put a link in the show notes.
What have you eaten this week?
We have an awesome listener/friend that listens to the podcast.
Hi.
Hey.
Friend?
And I've been thinking about what to name him. He's a Tottenham fan. If you are into soccer, he loves the Tottenham Hotspurs.
Gotcha.
I'll have to ask Lee what he called him, but I think it was something like Bob the Hotspur or something like that. I can't remember what Lee called him. Anyway, he heard our episode on pie.
Nice.
Like our first episode on pie.
Right.
And he was like, Winter, I can make a really good mincemeat pie. And I was like,
I think I've met this friend.
Yeah.
In passing at your house.
Maybe. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
He's delightful. His family's delightful. And
how was it?
He was very excited to make this, and he eventually got around to it because it's a very Christmas thing, and he's lived in England before, and so he made mincemeat pies for himself and his family, and for us.
So is it a full pie? Is it like a handheld pie?
It was a handheld pie.
Okay.
And the thing that he's like, this is different, Winter. It does have meat in it, so mincemeat pie. Everybody, if you don't remember what that is, it can be a full pie, or I guess it can be a handheld pie, which is what we got. And it usually it's a sweet pie. It has currants and raisins and other things, and it's sweeter, and it usually has some meat in it, what they call suet or mincemeat. If you would have told me that there was meat in there, I would not have believed you.
You couldn't taste the meat?
Nope, couldn't taste the meat.
Oh, wow.
And he pointed out, he's like, I made this with a shortbread crust. And I'm like, I love shortbread. It was delightful.
So I wish I could have tried some.
So he gave it to us on, I can't remember, one day, and then we ate it the next day because we just weren't home. I warmed it up actually for like 30 seconds in the microwave. It was so yummy, and it was on the sweet side. So I actually put a little whipped cream with it. I bet it would taste amazing with like a scoop of ice cream.
What? And meat and mincemeat.
Mincemeat a la mode.
I'm jealous. I wish I could have tried this.
I know. I think we just didn't see each other. I think we just missed each other. And so that's why I didn't save any for you. But I ate 2 of them because they brought over 4.
Awesome.
It was really good. So thanks, Bob. We really appreciate it. I thought it was good. I liked it.
Nice.
And now for the main course.
Okay, let's get down to our first topic at hand, which is 2016-2017 food trends.
Yes.
Well, which year are we doing first?
Let's do 2016.
Okay.
Let's kind of wrap up the year, right? Everybody's supposed to do hey, how'd the 2016 go?
Year in review?
Yeah, I think 2016 was kind of rough for a lot of people. Apparently.
It was rough on the entertainment industry.
Yeah, it was like, so many.
We lost a lot of greats.
Yeah, we really did.
Lost a lot of icons this year. It was rough politically. That's all I'll say.
Yep. There's been a lot of turmoil in the world. So 2016.
Personally, with a lot of people I know, they've experienced a lot of loss
Yeah.
and a lot of hardship.
Yeah. 2016, though, we were talking about food trends because there are definitely trends in the food world.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about food trends? Are you into them?
It depends on what the trend is. Like some of them is ridiculous. Like kale just needs to die already. Like I
feel like it's died. I don't know. Maybe.
I keep seeing it though. It's like, oh, it's just always there. Why can't I just have some Swiss chard?
Oh, I love
Tell
some
me that.
Swiss chard.
Why can't we have Swiss chard chips? Instead, we have to have kale chips.
Why don't you make it popular, man? Yeah.
I wish I could.
It
Everybody eats Swiss chard. It's pretty.
is pretty.
It's got like the red stem going through it. It's pretty. But no.
I'm kind of a punk when it comes to trendy things. So I will tell you this, you'll
Do you not do trendy things?
I try not to do trendy things. Back in the day when the Titanic came out, you know how
The movie?
The movie.
Oh, okay.
When that movie came out.
I'm like, I wasn't around when the Titanic set sail.
No, sorry. Clarification. Movie.
Okay.
When that came out, I did not go and watch it.
Oh, you are lucky because you know what? I had 3 dates all in the month of January when it came out.
And
we all went to the Titanic.
Yeah. Did not watch.
I could probably, that's the only 3 times I've seen that movie and I could probably still quote it for you.
I did not watch it because I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody is just like oohing and ahhing and going gaga over it. And I'm like, nope, not for me. So I refuse to watch it because of that. So I'm kind of that person that is a little obstinate when it comes to trendy things. I'm like, nope, everybody's on board. I'm not gonna
not doing it.
But I'm curious, was there anything in 2016 that you really liked that you're like, I can get on board with that trend?
Yes, there was.
What?
So at the end of 2015, probably, I guess it was the beginning of 2016, I started hearing and seeing more of LaCroix, the sparkling water.
Oh.
I don't know if you know what that is, but
I've heard of it. I've never had it before. And I feel like it just showed up on my radar only about a month ago. Am I just blind?
I don't know. I've been going to a Pilates studio quite a bit.
Okay.
Earlier in 2016 and a lot of 2015. So that's where I first started hearing about it. Was, the kind of it girls, I guess, but they're super nice. Yeah, they were talking about clean eating and things like that. And basically it's a soda substitute.
So
it's a carbonated sparkling water.
With a flavor?
Yeah.
Flavors?
So yeah, there's tons of different flavors. One of my favorites is coconut. There's also like a pear flavored one that's really good. I think it's like peach pear.
So is it like sweet?
Yes, it depends on your definition of sweet. It's definitely not soda sweet. There are 0 calories, 0 sugar, sodium.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing except for the sparkling water and quote unquote natural flavors. So do with that what you will. But if you're trying to wean yourself off of soda and other sugary types of drinks, even maybe alcohol, it's a good substitute.
Okay.
Just if you want to have something
fizzy and sweet-ish.
Yeah, something fizzy and sweet-ish. They've got like a black cherry one that's good. They have tons of different flavors. So that's something that I really liked in 2016. And that's helped me out a lot, especially when I did like a Whole30 back in January and stuff. It's Whole30 approved. So, yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
LaCroix, right?
LaCroix.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this year, I really have loved all of the ramen.
Oh my gosh, yes. I tried ramen at a restaurant for the first time, like the fancy ramen, not the top ramen.
Where?
Tonkutsu?
I think so.
I'm not sure. How do you pronounce that?
We'll get the place in the show notes if you happen to be local.
It was really good. It had pork belly and a soft boiled egg and some other yumminess.
So we've eaten ramen all my life, right?
Oh yeah.
It's usually the like
It's
the
a Chinese
non-fancy.
thing, right?
It's totally Chinese. So we've always had ramen, but I do like how there are more ramen places that you can get a good bowl of ramen that is hearty and there's lots of stuff in it and it's perfect for cold days like this.
Yes.
And I kind of loved, there's something fun about ramen, especially when, I mean, it's fun because you get to kind of put whatever you want in there.
Yeah. I mean, you can put additions in there.
Mhm.
They've got on restaurant menus, like this is what we have. And I saw a curried ramen. That was really yummy. My friend got that one. But they have all these different combinations, but then you can make your own too, which is
like,
great.
One of my favorites is we go to a Coco Kitchen and we get, there's one where you can just put kimchi in it too. Because, you know, I don't know. Kimchi is just really good always with that. So I think that's really a fun trend because that is the nice thing about some Asian cooking. I feel like you can just kind of put in whatever you've got in your fridge and your base is these noodles and a broth, right?
Yeah.
It's basic stuff. So I like that trend. And I think it kind of pho, that's pho,
yummy.
Vietnamese noodles, PHO with the little thing on the top. I can't remember. I don't know what the symbol is.
Is that a schwa?
I don't know. It's not. So I don't think it's a schwa. So, but yes, I love kind of that same deal with pho because there's vegetables and meat and noodles and it's warm and it's a big pot of it's
a big pot of yum.
Yep. And so I have enjoyed that trend and I kind of hope it continues at least through the winter time.
Yeah. Because I need to get soup.
Yeah, I'm going to continue that for myself anyway. So I don't know if anybody else has really liked it or not, but I really enjoyed that. But that's because I love me a good bowl of soup.
Yeah. See, what else have you liked in 2016?
I jumped on a bandwagon, everybody. A bandwagon that apparently happened mid-June.
Mid-June.
On Amazon Prime Day.
Oh.
And I missed that boat originally with the Instant Pot.
The Instant Pot boat.
Yeah, I did miss
bandwagon.
The bandwagon there. So I finally figured out what that was after we had our Instant Pot interview.
Yes.
You can go check out that interview with Kathy Hester. And I just was fascinated by this little machine. And so far we have used it at least a couple times a week.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So we bought one on, I think it was Black Friday.
Right. So you got a great deal on it.
Yep. We got a great deal. And I jumped on a trend bandwagon, which I generally don't do, but it has been really...
It's paid off.
It's been really fun.
Okay.
Just exploring what you can make really in a short amount of time.
Nice.
Yeah. So I really like that trend. And I think it's going to keep going. I feel like pressure cooking has always been around. So I'm sure there's going to be plenty to see and do in the Instant Pot world. In fact, if there's a Facebook group and there's so many people on that Facebook group, but they keep sharing recipes and I'm like, I gotta try that. So yeah, I've got a few things in
pressure cooking without the explosions.
Yeah. Very exciting. Very exciting. I'm not fearing for my life. So far, we have not blown up our house. So Sharon, anything else for you? Anything else that you really liked in 2016? Or maybe you can, if you really want to, you can talk about things you didn't like.
Yes, I can talk all day long about things I don't like.
Right.
But I will refrain and just say 3 things that I didn't like in 2016. I'm tired of pumpkin spice.
Everything.
I'm sorry if my girl card needs to be revoked, but I am tired of it. Can we talk about gingerbread? Can we talk about cinnamon? Can we talk about nutmeg? Just as separate entities, maybe. Or just not label them all pumpkin pie, whatever.
Right.
I'm tired. It makes me tired. Let's get a new
thing for the fall.
A new holiday fall flavor.
I agree.
So.
That is overdone. And it's kind of being, I think people make fun of it.
They do. And it has its place. Yes, pumpkin spice lattes are tasty. I'm not going to say they're not. I'm just so tired of everything being pumpkin.
Yeah. Everybody
and having to be excited about it.
Everybody jumped on that bandwagon.
What if I'm not excited about your pumpkin, whatever that you made? Except my coworker made some really great pumpkin chocolate chip cookies.
And you had to have those.
They were super good. It seems to be like a validation, like, oh, well, we have that in pumpkin spice flavor, lip gloss. So it must be good. Like, I'm just tired of it.
Okay. Well, I think that could go away.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm also tired of boring cheese.
What do you mean?
I don't know about
What do you mean?
but recipes that I see online, just, what's for dinner type stuff.
Yeah.
Like what to make the family always includes boring cheese.
Like?
Cheddar and Swiss.
Oh.
That's all I'm seeing. And I'm not even seeing specific types of cheddar, like
Extra sharp.
Yes. Can we talk about extra sharp?
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about the importance of a medium, maybe, if you're making macaroni and cheese, or like how the extra sharp, you can play some other flavors off of that if you're making your mac and cheese or whatever it is. I don't know. I'm just tired of the boring cheese.
People are not adventurous, though. People sometimes don't have access to fancy cheeses like a gorgonzola or something.
Well, and I think it's because people don't want to branch out, though, because one of the 2016 food trends that I have liked is tech influenced food, like ordering your groceries online.
Yeah.
And like ordering services, which I never really thought I'd say that I liked, and I've not tried them, like the grocery ordering services where you get a specific recipe to make. But I like that people are cooking at home more and utilizing them.
Yes.
And I think that if people branched out with their cheese, they would be pleasantly surprised.
Right. And I would say along with that, because it is scary, there are a ton of cheeses out there, I feel like.
Tons.
But go talk to your cheesemonger. That's the person behind the cheese counter.
Yes.
That can help you navigate. If you need a milder cheese or if you need a creamier cheese or a harder cheese, they can help you with that kind of thing.
And if there isn't a cheesemonger, talk to the person at the deli. They can give you little baby tiny slices you can try some other stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I think I could get on board with that, not liking the boring cheese thing. You guys can branch out. There's other cool stuff out there.
Yeah, there's brie, there's Gruyere. I mean, lots of people would love Gruyere. If you like cheddar, you'll love Gruyere.
There's a lot of fun cheeses out there, people.
Another trend that I didn't like would be a lot of machines. I know you just told me about the Instant Pot, but I am just tired of seeing. So I saw, my food processor blade got recalled. Yeah. Which is the blade I use the most often in my food processor. I think it's the blade everybody uses most often.
Yep, probably.
I'm just tired of I've got a blender, I've got a crock pot, I've got a rice cooker, I've got a food processor, I've got a KitchenAid, I have a hand mixer. When does it end? I'm just tired.
Yeah. Well, I think I would agree with you on that because once again, I just purchased an Instant Pot and we had a discussion about with kitchen tools. That was another episode we talked about and it drives me, I'm going a little nutso because I'm like, I have too many things in my kitchen right now. I really do. Like we have a lot of things and we'll talk a little bit more about those things when we come talk about 2017 predictions. But I want to say that, yes, I think I would agree with you. All the machines are taking over and I got to figure out ways to calm it down a little. So really quickly, side note, everybody in January, I do something called the January cure with apartment therapy. So if you want to come along with that, I'm totally doing that. Which is every single day you have a small assignment and then on the weekends you have maybe a little bit bigger assignment. But one of the things I did one year was one of the assignments was to go through my kitchen stuff and get rid of things that I wasn't using.
Yeah. So anybody that's not familiar, go to apartmenttherapy.com. Mm-hmm. They are also the geniuses behind thekitchen.com.
With no E in the kitchen.
Yeah. And what they do is it's basically like declutter your house, declutter your life.
Yeah.
January cure. It's like a start over reset.
Yeah.
And you get rid of and purge tons of stuff and feel better about being in your house.
Yeah.
And
starting the new year off on a good foot. And I love the fact that they always have a goal in mind. So you set up a party at the end of the month that you're basically doing this for. And it's just a way to reward yourself for doing those things that you did during the month.
You kind of throw a party, a little bash at your house.
Yeah.
It can either be big or small.
Yeah.
I've done small ones because I'm not much of an entertainer type host
We
person.
have done big ones because we are.
Yeah.
In fact, I already know what we're doing at the end of the month. It's Chinese New Year on the 28th of January. So
Ooh.
that's my goal. Okay. So
Sweet.
anyway, I think that will be a good thing to cover when January comes around so we can get rid of some of the machines.
Yeah. Nice.
Is that a bad thing to say? Get rid of some of the machines or use them, give them to somebody else that could use them.
Gift them.
Yeah.
Donate them.
So along with this, I thought food trends, these are kind of an interesting thing. I wanted to talk a little bit about food trends that happened 50 years ago and 100 years ago.
Oh, do tell.
Yes. So let's talk about 1916. We're in
So
the year
100 years ago.
100 years ago, what was
Oh,
happening
man.
at that time?
World War One.
They're kind of in the throes of that. There was a lot of rationing that was going on. The landscape of the people that were in America at that time was very melting pot. There was a lot of newly immigrated families there in America. And so it was really different. So people that were in New York City that were immigrants were eating something totally different from somebody that was in like South Carolina and living on the
cool.
plantation. So think
Yeah.
about it. Like it still hadn't
Okay.
quite been homogenized.
Mhm.
And so everybody was kind of eating a lot of different things. Obviously, because of World War I, there were some major rations that were happening with all the food. So there was a lot of home cooking happening. And we were starting to get a bit more technology helping out canned foods and that type of thing. So I wanted to point out a few things that were kind of big in the year 1916. Well, this is 1917, but this is a report of things that were happening at that time. But cocktail parties.
Ooh, were they on the rise?
They were on the rise. And in
How
fact,
fun.
there was a particular family. It was in St. Louis, Mr. Julius S. Walsh Jr. He was a major person in the social scene. And his wife, Mrs. Walsh, was the person that they credit to throwing the first cocktail party.
How cool.
And they talk about how the party was an instant hit and there were this private bar and they had somebody making drinks for people. And so it was quite a hit.
Quite the gathering.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was funny because this reference that I was looking at was kind of said, hey, you know what? This was quite the gathering because almost all of the cocktails that were served at Mrs. Walsh's party was listed in this cookbook, basically, like all the recipes for it. So, so it was a big hit. A couple of other things that I thought were interesting things, some U.S. brands that were starting to show up at this time. So Oreos, Coca-Cola
Yay.
in bottles.
Oh, okay.
And they actually got that signature shape. You know how we talked about that signature shape? They got it in 1916. Campbell's soups. Now they only had tomato, chicken noodle, but not the cream of mushroom yet.
Oh,
There was, it's just
the
really-
infamous cream of mushroom.
Yes, exactly. So let's see. Nabisco's Animal Crackers, Cracker Jacks, also Pillsbury Flour, Hershey's Cocoa, Quaker Oats. There was just kind of a lot of stuff.
It's like really growing and exploding.
Yep, Hershey's bars, even Heinz ketchup and Golden's mustard. We already talked about that in their condiments. But there was just kind of a lot of stuff happening in 1916 around that time. So then we jump ahead 50 years.
Oh, okay. To 1966.
1966. And what was happening in 1966? It was after the war, right? So rationing is probably done. Not World War II.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
I should
Because I
probably-
was trying to
Sorry.
think when was Vietnam, but it was a little bit after
Yep.
that. So,
World
okay.
War II. And so in the 50s, they had a little bit more boring food, right? Casseroles,
Sure, yeah.
right? And so they were trying really hard to have a little bit fancier food, I guess. That's when Julia Child was
Oh, yes.
really
when
big
she came in on
on
the
the
scene.
scene. Exactly. Jackie Kennedy was really she was an icon. She was a social icon and an entertaining icon. So that everybody was trying to have these kind of nicer, stylized parties. A couple of things that were I really enjoyed reading some of these things. So signature dishes that were happening at this time: iceberg wedge salad. Do you know-
Really?
Yeah, that was
okay.
that was-
So that's still a thing.
That
All right.
It's still a thing, but it's not as cool as it was in 1960s.
Okay.
Fondue. was huge. I think everybody had a
Yes.
fondue pot or
Yes.
something. Beef Wellington,
Okay.
Swedish meatballs, with the grape jelly,
Oh, yeah.
like the sweet savory type situation. Buffalo wings showed up in the 60s.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Soul food, I think, really made a kind of an appearance as well. And then we're also getting like more of the cultural food. So Japanese steakhouses, Julia Child introducing a lot more of the French stuff. Tang.
Yes.
Do you know what Tang is?
Oh, I loved it. My mom gave it to me all the time when I was a little kid.
They talk about it being the space age drink.
Yes.
Tang.
Because I think some of the
Astronauts, I think.
astronauts
Yeah.
like had it.
Yep. And one other thing that I thought was really fun in 1966 specifically, the Tunnel of Fudge cake was inspired. Actually, it was won the second place winner for the Pillsbury Bake Off.
Oh, yeah. It was in a bunt, right?
It was in a bunt. Exactly.
Okay.
And so
I think I just read about that.
she had made this bunt cake, but in the center, she had made something with a specific type of, it was kind of a frosting flour. It's basically like cornstarch, cornstarchy sugar, so powdered sugar for the center, which created this molten-y lava cake. So this is basically the predecessor to the molten lava cake that we know.
So she made it in a bunt pan.
Made it in a bunt pan, won second place at the Pillsbury Break Off. Cool. Huh?
Wow.
I know.
That's cool.
So yeah, that's a quick history lesson of things that happened 100 years ago and 50 years ago. And like, it's interesting to see what it's like today because our technology is so different
Yeah.
and tastes are so different. Because like I look at that wedge salad and I'm like, that was good, I think, and very inventive maybe.
Sure. I mean, just like the presentation, slice up an iceberg head into quarters and there you have a wedge salad and you'll just put a couple of things on top and some dressing and call it a day.
And it looks kind of cool, actually.
Yeah. And it's kind of fun to eat.
Yeah. But nowadays you wouldn't think of that as being a fun salad.
No. And I wonder if we look back in like 50 years from now, are people going to think that it's boring?
Yeah.
I have been reading a lot of information about 2017 food trends. There's a survey that gets sent out to couple thousand dietitians, registered dietitians in the United States, predicting 2017 food trends.
What did it say? I'm curious.
It says that people are more going away from the diet mindset. Americans are going away from a diet mindset moving towards mindful eating and clean eating. So more fruits and vegetables, less processed foods, more whole foods.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. And they're also going towards more tech-based opportunities in food. So ordering groceries online, through delivery services, Amazon Go markets are going to become a thing.
What are Amazon Go markets? I don't think I've seen too much about that, actually.
They just opened the first one in Seattle, not just a week or two ago.
Oh.
And basically there's no checkout line and you don't scan your stuff. I think you open your Amazon app and it kind of knows what you take.
What?
Yeah, I don't know all the nuts and bolts about how it works, but you don't have to scan anything.
Sweet.
And you basically load up your bag, you load up your little cart and you leave. And,
so it just kind of registers
your Amazon account.
What?
Yeah. It's cool.
That would be kind of a nice thing. Though I do like talking to the checkout people.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's an argument that, it's decreasing job opportunities.
You're right.
But, I mean, there's definitely a big argument for it because it is price competitive and things like that. So, a lot of these registered dietitians have predicted that tech options with food will increase in 2017.
I think I would agree with you on that. I think there's a lot of opportunity because people are being more aware of what they're eating and I think they're trying to be a little bit more conscious about their diet, their bodies, and then also about the environment too, because there's quite a large impact on certain things.
Well, and that's another thing that the Amazon Go market is aiming for is zero waste.
Okay.
So that's kind of cool.
Trying to do a lot of local stuff, I'm assuming. And okay.
And then another trend is, well, they kind of predicted what the top 10 superfoods would be in 2017.
They always do that. And that's where kale showed up on the scene. Let's be honest.
Well, and it's still number 6.
Oh, is it? So wait, what are the, I have heard a couple of things that were on the list. I think seaweed, is that still on there? Because I feel like seaweed
It didn't make an appearance.
Oh,
this
it
year.
didn't?
No.
I feel like that was a big thing recently. So,
But one thing that we did talk about before we started recording tonight was coconut products.
Oh.
That's number 8.
I feel like that's been overdone. I'm sorry. I don't like that.
The coconut water.
Yeah, I don't
You're
like
not a
coconut
fan.
water. You guys, I'll just drink regular water. I'm cool with that. It's free. Tastes good.
Top superfood for 2017 is seeds, both chia and hemp especially.
I like seeds.
Number 2 is avocado, which is one of my favorite foods.
I'm all about that.
Number 3 is nuts, especially almonds and walnuts.
I'm all about that too.
Number 4, which I really thought was cool, was fermented foods.
Oh,
Yogurt
a little-
especially. But
okay.
sauerkraut, kimchi,
I was about to say those.
salami,
Yeah.
wine, stuff like that.
Fermented foods.
But yeah, yogurt especially. Number 5 is ancient grains. So more of like the heirloom grains and stuff. So more creative than just like oats or rice, but like with your farro and stuff like that.
Okay.
Number 6 we said is kale.
Wah.
Wah, wah.
Still
It should be
good.
Swiss chard. I'm just gonna.
You're just gonna put a / Swiss chard.
Yes, I'm gonna have more Swiss chard in my life in 2017.
Good.
That might be a New Year's resolution. I don't know. Number 7 I liked. It was green tea. Like I said, number 8 was coconut products. Number 9 is exotic fruits. And number 10 is salmon.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, salmon is good for you, but I guess I have not eaten as much salmon because I'm worried about
Overfishing. The Monterey Bay Aquarium has a good / awesome
That's right.
app called, I think it's like Fish Watch or something like that.
And they tell
or
you
Seafood Watch. It's called Seafood Watch. And they'll tell you look up your fish that you want to buy at the supermarket, and they can tell you what to look for on the packaging or to ask your butcher about it.
Sweet.
If it's certain types of salmon or halibut that you're looking at, avoid these types because they're overfished, and go for these types.
Gotcha.
And they'll give you an excellent, a good, and a stay away
Don't
from.
do it.
Yeah.
Okay. I will put
So,
a
and
link
they're-
in the show notes because I think that's a great resource.
Yeah, Monterey Bay Aquarium app. You can get it on
Apple and Android, I'm sure.
okay,
Okay,
both,
cool.
wherever you get your apps from.
I really like, I would say, a majority of that list. I'm excited for the 2017 superfood list.
Yeah,
I heard another trend that I'm excited for, but I'm not excited for. I heard purple foods.
yes, I've heard that too.
We're going to be in like purple potatoes and purple asparagus and that type of thing. But I feel like maybe just an opportunity to like charge me more.
I feel that way too.
Like, I think purple potatoes are yummy. I've had them before. I think
I also
they're
don't feel
delicious.
like they taste any different. Have you ever had a purple carrot?
yes. And I don't think they taste any different either.
Yeah. I mean, it's fun. It's cool to see. And I mean, I'm sure you're getting some different phytonutrients. Those are like the color nutrients, quote unquote. Purple things like red onions are actually purple, and cabbage. Those are easy purple vegetables to come across and purchase.
Purple cabbage. That would be great. That's always around.
That's always around. And I feel like the red onions, which are actually purple, are always around too and available. So those are good alternatives to eat your purple.
Eat your rainbow, right?
And
That's what they say.
blueberries, even though they're not, they tend to be more purple than they are blue.
Yeah. But they're still that, I think, the same area that you need. So I am really excited. So can I tell you what my predictions are for 2017?
Yeah.
Okay. So these are my top 3 predictions, and I'm kind of excited by all of them. I think home cooking is going to make a comeback.
Yes. I was just reading about this in Forbes for 2017 trends, and they talked about Generation Z.
Oh.
Like Z if you're Canadian.
So is that after the millennials?
Yes.
Okay.
So these people
They're young,
are
the young ones.
5 years old to 20 years old right now.
Okay.
So they're mostly living at home, and they've been shaped by things like the recession and terrorism. And so because of that, I know it's so random.
It's very homebound.
But because of this, they seek stability and security. And so they'll work really hard for that. And it means that they're into doing things themselves and being reliant on themselves. And that includes cooking.
Sweet.
Something about them is that it's predicted or it's shown even now that they think that ethnic foods are more the norm. Because, these are kids that you're raising in your house right now as Generation Z.
Mm-hmm.
So you're seeing these pho restaurants pop up and you're taking your families out and it's not a big deal to them.
Yeah.
Whereas when I went out to eat when I was a little kid.
That was unheard of.
Oh, yeah. We went to like McDonald's, Del Taco, and steakhouses.
Yep.
That's where we went when I was little.
Well, that's because that was all that was available.
Yeah.
But there's definitely more options. I think that's the exposure helps.
Is key. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And can I interject really quickly that I think all these reality TV shows that have like Chopped or Chopped Junior and the next blah, blah, blah star, whatever, I think those are kind of have that go get 'em attitude. Like, hey, you can do this at home. Like, you've never dealt with this thing. Oh, well, figure it out.
Yeah. And then they give you, it's problem solving with food.
Yeah.
And how to cook it and stuff. I think it's great.
I'm excited for that trend. And because I feel like we've made a shift to that trend in our own home. I know that sounds really silly, but I'm like, we kind of ate out a lot at a certain point in time this year. And I'm like, we need to stop doing that.
Well, I used to eat out all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I've talked about this before on the podcast, but I have only learned to cook in recent years, really.
Mm-hmm.
Before I could always follow a recipe, but it didn't always turn out.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what to do when it didn't turn out. And I had never really had an affinity for cooking for myself or learning how to do things in the kitchen. But now I don't do it as much, and I am glad of that.
Well, it helps the pocketbook. There's something really nice about sitting down at the table and eating a meal together with your family or friends or whatever. So I think I'm looking forward to the staying at home and maybe even doing more dinner parties, having people at your home, not going out to eat, but being at home.
Oh, I've loved having dinner at my friend's home.
Mm-hmm. It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah. My Brownie Locks and the Bears home.
Oh, yes.
I love eating at their house.
Yeah.
I love gathering around their table. They have a small house. It's cozy and it's great.
Yes.
I love their house.
See, I like that. We started our big blank dinner recently where we are inviting people randomly to our house and we're not curating the guest list.
Yeah, they just put it out online and say, hey, we're having the great spaghetti dinner.
Or the great pho dinner or whatever it happens to be that month. And it's turned out very interesting so far. We've had a couple of them and it's been fun to see the group that's shown up and how they interact with each other. It's been really fun.
It's a cool way to bring different groups of friends together that don't know each other.
Yeah.
But they all have you in common. And so then they get to know each other.
Yeah.
Friends become friends of friends become friends together.
I hope that happens.
Yeah.
It's bound to. Okay. So the other thing that I am kind of excited for and maybe a little terrified for is faux meat. Have you heard of
not the meat that's in the soup? Faux,
no.
As in F-A-U-X.
Yes. The fake meat or meat that is maybe not exactly. So meat substitutes or meat that is maybe grown in a lab.
Please continue on that train of thought.
Okay. So that's
bizarre.
So there are, obviously we kind of were talking a little bit about this before, but there are certain things that you can use as a meat substitute. So like jackfruit, I think is you brought that up. Is that right?
Yeah. Jackfruit being a substitute for pulled pork actually. And I would love to try that.
Yeah. So I don't know very much about that, but like there are things out there that you can use. And once again, I think it has a lot to do with I think there's a trend towards more sustainability in food. And so that's doing things that are not not always having meat, I think, is a good thing for the environment and also for your body.
Yeah.
So
Plant-based diet. I think, having the jackfruit is probably a great way to do that.
yeah.
Mm.
And then there's other things that have been, there is some technology going on right now where people are trying to grow meat in a lab.
How does that work? I have no idea. I've never even heard of this.
Yeah, so in 2013 they grew the first lab grown burger.
So are you just growing the meat or are you growing the animal?
No, you're growing the meat only.
So is this like cell division and things like that that's happening?
Yeah, I believe so. I haven't gone too much into this because I just was like, in general, there was this like trend of going meatless or trying to do other things, other meat type substitutes and decreasing the amount of emissions that are created.
Sure, yeah.
This is basically stem cells. I think that's kind of how they're doing it.
Interesting.
And then creating a beef that is cultured, like cultured in a petri dish almost in a sense. So, so that'll be interesting to see how that goes and what kind of price tag that has, because right now it is quite spendy to do one, whatever, to be able to ramp that up will be interesting to see in the future. I don't think it's going to happen 2017 being like on the market type of a deal, but I think there will be some strides made in that area and it'll be interesting to see that.
That's exciting. That's cool.
And then the last thing I'm really excited about, and you're going to laugh at me.
What?
Because it's another machine.
What?
We've had this for a while though. So,
but
I think it's becoming, I think it's going to be a big thing in 2017 using the sous vide machine.
Yes.
So if you don't know what that is, it's a low temperature water bath where you can cook your food at a specific temperature for a little bit longer time, but it'll be perfect. So for example, if you're trying to do a steak, if you want it medium rare, you set a temperature, let it go for an hour and a half or whatever. It's cooked perfectly. And then you can just finish it off in like on your stovetop or under the broiler. It is really quite lovely. So we
talk a little bit about sous vide in our interview with Jason Logston.
Yeah, infusions. And that was when we were just talking specifically about creating infusions, but we will eventually talk to him about
more sous vide machinery and the breakdown of that.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to talking to him about that in 2017.
It'll be really good. So there's a couple of machines that are out there. I really think it's going to be a huge thing because like the Anova, that's a really nice machine that people use or have purchased. And then Chef Steps came out with their own version of a sous vide, and it's called Joule, Joule. And Hamilton Beach actually came out with one that is doubles as a kind of a slow cooker type of a situation. And
that's pretty smart.
We have that one. I happened to get that one for Lee, and he loves it.
Nice.
He loves it. And we've used it for a few other things because it has that slow cooker aspect. We actually tempered our chocolate in it when we did our chocolates this year.
Nice.
And so I really think that the sous vide is going to be a big deal. And it is another machine. So we're going to try and pair other things. Sharon's giving me this like winter.
Yeah, right.
Winter.
So I looked on Pinterest for some top 2017 food trends, and the jackfruit substitute for the pulled pork is like number 1.
Really?
Sous vide is number 2. Vegetable chips, and you're seeing more zucchini chips.
I was about to
kale.
say, I'm like,
So that's
okay,
awesome.
so it's different.
But a couple things that I thought were super interesting was octopus.
Really? I
like
love
for
octopus.
the home cook. Grilling it and putting it in tacos.
Huh.
Empanadas, like the handheld meat pies.
Yes.
More than 1.5 million Pinterest users have pinned an empanada recipe.
Oh.
And also sour beer. And that is slated to be a big contender with rosé for your summertime alcoholic beverage.
Oh, a sour beer. So is it, I don't understand what a sour beer is.
I kind of don't either because
I'm like, I don't know what that is.
I was trying to look into that more, and it sounds kind of like it's those shandies where it's like a combination of like maybe a Hefeweizen and some fruit. So you kind of get like a sweet and sour taste with that.
Oh, okay.
Not
I totally
like
didn't understand what you just said.
Like that advertisement from years and years ago where it talked about bitter beer face.
Oh.
The sour beer is a little bit different than that.
Okay.
But I'm not sure if that's really going to contend with the rosé because those are super yummy. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Okay. Are there any things that you guys are excited to see happen in 2017? Are you excited for a few trends to die? Let's talk about it.
Tell us. Put it in the comments in the show notes or on Facebook.
Or on Instagram. We'll be there.
Yeah. Let's have a food fight.
Food fight, food fight, food fight, food fight. It's winter.
This is the segment of our program where you can send us your relationship questions relating to food. You can email us at hungrysquared@gmail.com.
Disclaimer, we are in no way professional relationship experts, but you should totally listen to us anyway. If you need professional help, please seek it out.
Food fight, the food fight segment of the show. Here we go.
Winter, where's this question coming from?
This one
week?
is a doozy.
Oh,
I think, because I think this can be a touchy subject for people.
Oh, let's hear it.
Okay, it says, "Hey, Hungry Squared, we need you to settle an argument for us."
Okay.
So it says, "My friend thinks that she doesn't need to share recipes and that they belong to her. I think she should share. What do you think? Sincerely." Oh man. "Give me that chocolate chip recipe."
Oh man.
Okay.
Oh, so sharing recipes, to share or not to share?
Yep.
That's the question.
Yep. I generally like to share recipes,
Me too.
but I know that there are some recipes that I am not. I was given access to something that I don't have the ownership for, so I do not share those ones.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I think some recipes are proprietary
Yes.
because people are making money off of them. Like Lee has a business.
Yes, he
And
does.
he's got proprietary, because those recipes are trade secrets
Mhm.
and people aren't going to pay you for your food if you're just like, hey, this is what we have.
Right.
I mean, sometimes they will, but it's not the same.
Yes, it's
You
not
know.
the same.
So like, I think a famous example of that would be those Neiman Marcus cookies. It's
That were
probably
so-
an urban legend. I have no idea, but I've heard different dollar amounts that were paid for that dumb recipe.
Yeah. And you're like,
So I don't know, but things are proprietary. But I think as a home cook, if this is an old family recipe, do you share it? Do you not share it? I am more of the opinion that you should share. So, but some, again, you have access to it, but it's not necessarily your old family recipe, maybe. I don't know.
yeah. Well, so my family, Lee, actually, his great uncle, I can't remember.
Couple greats.
Yeah, it's been in the family for a long time, but they would make these chocolates. We've talked about how we made chocolates for Christmas, and
Are you still making it from that same recipe?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I got the recipe, and I have not shared it on my blog. I haven't shared a recipe with anybody because it doesn't belong to me. That recipe doesn't belong to me. Does that make sense?
Gotcha, yeah.
And I don't want to, maybe if I'm the great grandmother in the family, and somebody finds like, "Winter, you need to share that recipe." I'm like, okay, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think sharing a family recipe like keeps the memory of that recipe maker alive.
Mm-hmm.
I think it also teaches tradition because a lot of those old recipes, like I've talked about before, my great grandma Grace's burnt sugar cake.
Yeah.
You just don't do the same techniques anymore. And
Yeah.
so I think it's cool to keep those things alive.
Right. And know how to make the burnt sugar.
Yeah. From yesterday, without a candy thermometer
Yeah.
and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. And I'm totally okay with open sharing of those types of recipes.
Okay.
I know some people aren't. And I know that it's like, well, that's my recipe. That's my special thing that I do. And I
Mhm.
kind of get that point of view, but I'm more of the opinion that it's good to educate people and to encourage them to cook. I mean, if you want to make it, you should make it. And I'm just talking like a friend to friend thing. I'm not talking about proprietary business type of recipe or anything like that.
Right. So I can be a little selfish though, Sharon. I'm just going to be
Can't we
completely
all?
honest.
Can't we all?
Well, the thing is though, if you're known for something, then it's kind of fun to like have the power. I know that sounds terrible. But it really is nice to be like, oh my gosh, Winter, will you bring that thing that you do?
It's true. It's nice to be known for a couple of dishes and stuff. Like my friend Jill, she makes this amazing baked potato salad. That sounds
weird.
Weird. Yeah. It sounds totally weird. It's a regular potato salad, but it isn't a mustard or a mayonnaise base.
Oh, interesting. So she just does something
it
totally
tastes
different.
Like a loaded baked potato and she uses a lot of sour cream in there.
Yummo.
And so there's bacon and chives and things like that in there. And so it's cold potato salad, but it tastes like a loaded baked potato.
Oh man, that sounds delicious. But she has not, is she willing to share it?
Oh yeah, she's totally fine with sharing it. But that's her thing that she makes for like family functions that we go to and stuff like that.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't really have to make it because I know she's going to.
Yeah.
It's one of her go-tos. I mean, I know that I'll be able to have it a couple of times a year at least. So
I think sharing is good, but you can't really force anybody to give you their recipes because once again, they may feel some sort of possession and
possession is 9/10 of the law, right? That old thing. I have no idea.
I don't think we can resolve this because if she's not willing to give it up, then we can't really
make her.
Yeah.
But I think, okay, so I will say this. My sister-in-law, hey, Tiana, makes incredible cookies.
Oh.
And she will usually share her recipes, but there's this one particular cookie that she has not shared because it's a family recipe.
Oh,
It's an old family recipe. And just like, I don't know, I think it's specific. It's like, and it's kind of a cool tradition in their family. And it's like the female members of their family or something like the bakers know this recipe. And so like my brother doesn't really know it, but she makes it for him and like his clients and stuff like that. And so I really like these cookies. Okay. I really like these cookies. And I thought, that's so lame that she won't share this recipe when I first, had these cookies. But it's increased my palate sensitivity in trying to recreate these cookies myself.
Oh.
And so I think I have it down. And this happened a while ago that I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally just made that cookie. This happened a couple of years ago. But I was like, it kind of lost its luster a little bit.
Really? Because
It did, because I made it and I was like, but I want Tiana to make it.
Yeah. See,
so I will hold out for her to make it. And like, I think that I can make something. I don't know if it's the exact same thing, but it is super darn close.
Yeah.
If it's not the exact same thing, but I'm like, meh.
But see, there's something kind of nice about it. So maybe this friend just needs to not give it up, but you really like those chocolate chip cookies. It sounds like that's what she signed off on.
Yeah.
So maybe you should just like, hey, if you won't give me the recipe, make me cookies.
For my birthday.
For
Something
Valentine's Day.
Yeah, and there's another thing we were talking about earlier is don't ask for a recipe if you're not going to use it too.
Oh, I'm notoriously bad about that kind of thing. So I don't ask her recipes anymore because if I don't feel so like beyond motivated to be like, I'm going to make this tonight.
Yeah.
I won't make it tomorrow.
And that's not to say that you shouldn't try new things and try to incorporate it into your repertoire or something. But if you have no inclination for that recipe,
right, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Well,
fine.
and I just think that's extra just clutter too. I don't know. Like it can clutter your brain if you have too many recipes. You're like, I got to make that. I got to make that. No, you don't. If it doesn't spark you to do something right then and there, or like very quickly after, then you're probably not going to make it. So
and that's okay.
Yeah. That's
just
totally
go to
fine.
another gathering with that same friend or relative so you can have that again.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, we can't force
so
your
it's
friend.
Both ways.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
We can't force your friend to give you that chocolate chip cookie recipe, but you know what? That's okay. It's okay.
Yep. And you'll live.
You
can be happy together even though you don't share that recipe mentality.
You can be friends still.
Yeah.
That's good.
Differences are what makes the world go round.
Yeah.
Moral of the story. Thanks for joining us today for our show. You can find us at hungrysquared.com, on iTunes, and wherever you get your podcasts. follow us on Instagram at Hungry Squared.
You guys, guess what we're doing a lot more of? We're going to start doing Instagram live videos.
Oh, cool.
I know. The tricky thing, though, is that when they're live, but when we're off, you can't watch them again later. So if you happen to see us pop on, come say hi to us.
And watch.
Yay. Okay, so we'll see you next week for our next episode of Food Nerdery.
I love you. Bye.
Bye.
Hungry Squared, yeah, Hungry Squared.